feeders. I use one kind. I don't use all this tires or underground stuff and drill holes in it, drainage material. I use buckets. This is what I use right here. A bucket. And you see these little triangles I cut in here. They're probably, I'm gonna say, here's the bottom of your bucket. There's a little lip right there. I'm a good 1.5 inches up and up. Perfect size, little triangle. You can see that coons stick their hand in and pull, make it just big enough for them to stick their hands in and pull it out. I hang this in a tree. I take a nail, I nail it on the tree, and I use a string. That's it. I don't use no special equipment. I use a string and let it hang in the air. Well, that one broke, but been out there for a while. Like that right there, hang in a tree and let it dangle. And what I do is I fill this thing up with cat food, the same food that I'm putting in my dog-proof traps. And it don't take much to fill these things up. Go buy the cheapest dog food you can purchase now. You can go to the Dollar Tree or Dollar General and get the cheapest food they got. Let it dangle. And how I get them started coming to it is fill it up. I take it and I put it on top of, I put a can of tuna on top or some type of fish on top of it to get them to coming. All right. So that's what I use. And let me tell you how to use them. Now, if I'm on a property that someone, say somebody has a couple of acres and they've got a problem with raccoons coming to their place, I take this and I set it out. I kind of see where some trails are coming up, and if I can't find trails, that's what the tuna and the fish smells for, is to get them to coming. I hang this in the tree. I let it sit for about a week, and I promise you the coons are going to find it. Now, what I'm going to have also is I'm going to have raccoons coming from all directions coming to this feeder. And all right, that's how I use it on small properties. Now, it's going to pull the coons in from way away from different properties. You're going to have more coons coming to this thing than ever. I also use this same setup. I'll go on, like if I have 250 acres I'm trapping, these properties will have 2, maybe 3 good, nice fields that have deer feeders. And what do you think the coons are going for? They're going straight to them deer feeders. So I find these coon trails, okay, that are going to these deer feeders, and I go off into these trails, and I find a little clearing to where it don't matter. Follow the trail till you find a little clearing. I find a good tree on these trails where this little clearing's at, and I'll hang it up in those clearings. So I'm cutting the path off for them. See, I have to cut it off. It's too much acreage for me to just randomly put one somewhere. So I find this and I set it up. I fill it up, do the same thing, and you'll see I'm pulling the raccoons off of the deer feeders and going to my feeder. And the property owner is going to love you for that, first of all. Secondly, the coons are going to love me for having them something other to eat than corn, something they really like. A coon would rather eat cat food, hard, nasty, Dollar Tree or whatever cat food, than it would prime corn in a feeder, I promise you. I put these things out, and I set my DPs out. I go ahead and put my DPs out around the feeder. Now I don't wait and I'm gonna put them out tonight, and I go ahead and let them sit. I'll let them DPs sit out there with them so they get used to what's there. Next thing you know, I set the trigger on them. I put the same cat food in there. And then I put my little licorice on top. And I promise you, the next day when I go in there, every trap's full of raccoons. Now, I don't over trap that spot. I'll trap it for a few days, then I won't trap it for a couple of weeks. Leave my traps there. So after a couple of weeks, set it up again, I'll be full of coons again. That's how you trap and catch a lot of coons on deer properties. All right. Also, a benefit of these feeders is during the off season. Now, I don't have food in these full time all season because that would be ridiculous. I'd lose a lot of money. But about 3 months before trapping fur bearing season, you fill them up. You put your fish on top. Even put you some of that licorice smell on it. Get them used to that. You feed them clowns for 3 months beforehand, and you'll have more coons than you can handle, because they're not just coming from that one property. Okay, the neighbor's got 200 acres or whatever, how many acres he's got. This neighbor, the north, south, east, and west, they're coming from every direction. It's like there's a signal that goes out and says there's a cat food feeder over here. And you'll have coons coming from all the neighbors' places. So you go, like, for example, I was asking a guy if I could trap his land for raccoons, and he told me, he don't let nobody on his land. No way, you ain't trapping my land. I don't like, down here in the South, you just don't, they'll shoot your ass for walking up on their property. You could literally break down on side of the road and pull over and change your tire, and some asshole's gonna come up in his pickup truck and a shotgun talking about what you doing on my land. Bitch, I got a flat tire. That's how bad it is here. But what you do is you go to his neighbor's property and you say, can I trap a little bit over here? I know it looks like you got a coon problem. Well, guess what? 9 times out of 10, not every one of them's an asshole. So I set my feeders up on that about maybe 50 yards from the clown's property that didn't want me trapping on it, and I bring his coons over to there, and I trap his coons anyway. So you people can be buttholes about and butthurt because people want to come and trap your land and all that. All I'm doing is trying to help you out, buddy. But anyway, I done ranted about that a little too much. But use the deer feeders, guys. Not the deer feeders. Use the coon feeders. You want to trap numbers of coons, use the feeders. If you're not using feeders, it's like a hit and miss thing. Use them feeders, pull them coons in. Make you some money, guys. Don't just go through trapping the whole time and you ain't making a dime. Use the feeders. I'm telling you. These things right here, I'm telling you, is a game changer. Also, you use these and dupe DPs, more coons than you can handle. That's all I got. Use the feeders. Thank you for watching.